Good morning and welcome back to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makwidiri. We're going to kick off the show with, I think, a very interesting topic. The political landscape within the MK party is experiencing, I think, what one can call intense internal strife as Party Secretary General Floyd Shivambu faces fierce criticism from senior party officials. The latest controversy erupted after MK party MP Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, also the daughter of party leader Jacob Zuma, launched a somewhat expletive-laden social media rant against Floyd Shivambu, accusing him of running the party through an EFF-linked cabal and sidelining long-standing members. The incident comes after a heated internal meeting in Cape Town, where Shivambu was reportedly given a strong dressing down over his leadership style. As factions within the party become increasingly evident, questions arise about the stability of the MK party and its future direction, with or without Jacob Zuma in the picture. And joining us to unpack these developments is political analyst Levy Ndou. Levi, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media. Always a pleasure chatting to you.
Good morning to you. Good morning to the listeners at home. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure's all ours. I think we can kickstart the conversation with, just the party dynamics and leadership tensions within the MK, which is right now, I think, the overarching conversation. What do you make of these growing tensions within MK, and particularly focusing on Floyd and Duduzile Zuma? We know it has been bubbling for quite a long time, but I think in the last few days it has unraveled.
These are kinds of situations that happens in the kind of political parties like the MK. The MK party is a new political party. They are busy recruiting members to join the party. The party has the ambition to grow and become stronger and stronger. And in that process, they have to attract as many people as possible. There are those who consider themselves as founders of the party. There are those who have been recruited and they are seen as newcomers. And immediately when you've got that kind of divisions, where some are seen as founders, some are seen as newcomers, already you have got a lie. But also, the MK party has not gone through an elective conference. Therefore, it means that everybody who is part of the party would want to access positions of influence and wants to play a role in influencing the direction of the party. But also, there is a matter that talks to the proximity to Jacob Zuma. And proximity to Jacob Zuma gives people access to positions in the MK party. And because they've not had any elective conference, the only way to access power is to have good relations with Jacob Zuma. And some people, which is very natural, will feel that they are being put away or being sidelined, or other people are getting much closer to Jacob Zuma than them, which creates competition amongst members of the MK party. So whatever is happening between Duduzile Zuma, who feels that she has played a very important role in the formation of the party, that should be seen as part of the internal party dynamics and competition between the two. And it should not only be limited to those two. There could be more other people that are competing to get favors and proximity to Jacob Zuma.
Mm. I want to touch on something that is coming a lot in your conversation regarding this. Number one, the fact that the MK party doesn't have an elective conference. They mentioned this, I think, at the latter part of last year, that they do not go to an elective conference. It's not in the party's agenda and the makeup of the organization. How much do you think that aspect is coming to, bite them back in the behind? Because as you mentioned, there's no hierarchy except the one that is decided upon by former President Jacob Zuma, and everyone who wants to be part of, the big dogs, so to say, to be at the top echelons of leadership within the party, must be of close proximity to former President Jacob Zuma. How much of that is now starting, to create cracks within the organization? I think one thing that the provincial structures of the party have always we're really passionate about pointing out is the fact that you have leaders from other political parties, the likes of Floyd Shivambu, who are not in the building phase of the organization, who are not part and parcel of that very, very successful elections last year, and they are catapulted into very, very senior positions within the party at the peril or at the expense of leaders and people who have been with the party from the ground up until parliament, but they are not given the recognition, and people are just catapulted in these top positions.
Those are the kinds of things that you should expect in a party that will not hold elective conferences. I think what you need to consider is that if it is fine and good to all members of the MK party that they do not go for an elective conference, it should not be seen as something bad. It should be seen as part of the internal arrangements of the MK party. What we therefore should only look at would be what therefore would be the advantages and disadvantages of not holding an elective conference. When you do not have elected leaders, and leaders are only appointed through certain processes, and in the case of the MKP, Jacob Zuma and a small community in the MKP are responsible for that. It creates its own problems like they do in the MK party. So it will talk to proximity to Jacob Zuma. To a certain extent, some people will say it talks to how favored some people are by Jacob Zuma. But also, there's something you'll never take away, which is that Duduzile Zuma has always been there since the formation of the party, always on the side of Jacob Zuma, participated very actively in the campaigns of the MKP. So she also, and naturally, she has to be jealous about someone who might come and be seen to be getting more recognition than herself. It's a very natural factor. And those are the things, in my view, that the MKP should be able to deal with so that it does not create unnecessary tensions.
Mm, 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 mm. And one thing that always comes up when you have a conversation around, the MK, is the fact that Jacob Zuma is, a senior citizen. We hopefully he has a long and really healthy life, but it seems there's no plan at this point. There's no succession plan for Jacob Zuma at his golden years. How do you analyze that aspect, the fact that MK without Jacob Zuma is almost unimaginable?
There could be a succession plan that we're not aware of. And the MK party, because they are still new, they could be having their own processes internally that we might not be aware of. Indeed, there is a talk about Jacob Zuma's age and who might take over the party and many other factors. But my expectation is that a party like the MKP should be in the process of constantly looking at how they plan their way forward, how they plan for short-term, medium, and long-term. At least there is a structure that is in existence. You have got the deputy president, you've got the secretary general, and they're having provincial structures. That, in my view, talks to an organization that is taking ground, which is there, it's also growing. And I think if they are able to deal with their differences, they can still be able to succeed and become a formidable party, even beyond Jacob Zuma.
I want us to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to focus a bit on Duduzile Zuma's outburst and consequentially an apology that came afterwards. And if we could read anything into it, one thing that stands out is the fact that after being instructed or forced by Jacob Zuma to apologize, she did so, but left her controversial tweets online. They're still there. They're still on her page. And I want to touch on whether or not this could be a sign of a deeper resistance within the party against Floyd Shivambu, but we'll touch on that after this short break.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Abu Hurairah narrated that he heard the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, say, in black seed there is a healing for every disease except death. This Ramadan, experience the health benefits of this ancient blessed seed by using the Tib Black Seed range. Black seed assists the body to boost immunity, regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and act as a potent antioxidant. Experience a holistic approach to health by introducing the Tib Black Seed range into your Ramadan routine. Available in capsules, pure cold-pressed oil, and a vapor rub. Trust Tib Health Sciences for quality black seed products. For more information, visit blackseed.co.za. Available at leading pharmacies.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying, or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, yet many children go to school hungry because of poverty. Penny Appeal South Africa's Breakfast Club aims to get a warm, hearty meal to underprivileged children so they can spend their day prospering in their schoolwork. Help feed a needy learner for only 5 Rand a day, or 150 Rand a month. Or visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573 to find out how you can donate. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, applications. Call now on 042 203 1400 or visit quantu.co.za. The Quantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, bakkies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zenderling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media. The time is 24 minutes past 8, and we're still having a really, really interesting conversation around what is the country's official opposition at this moment, the MK party, and tensions within the organization. And we're talking to political analyst Levy Ndou. Levi, thank you so much for staying with us. Before we went on that break, I wanted to touch on the apology, that public apology made by Duduzile Zuma. I think it comes after, former President Jacob Zuma almost forced or coerced her to apologize. She did so, but left her controversial tweets online. And on the apology itself, I'm not sure if you've looked at it or had the opportunity to look at it. It doesn't even mention Floyd Shivambu, not one mention of his name. It's just an apology to the organization, an apology to President Jacob Zuma and the people of South Africa and those that have supported MK party, but there's no mention of Floyd Shivambu specifically. It says the party secretary general. Are these little details important? Can we look at them and say, well, there can be a bit more, to this? Could it be a sign of deeper resistance within the party against Floyd Shivambu?
It will depend on where one stands in terms of how you read the apology. But what Jacob Zuma has succeeded in doing has been to put his foot down and looked at the bigger picture of having cohesion and stability in the MKP, having to show that the apology is made and to create an atmosphere of peace, an atmosphere that says that there is discipline in the party and everybody adheres by the rules of the party. But what also becomes is that, beyond the apology, what therefore becomes the way forward? Is just an apology on paper, or is this an apology that comes from the heart? That will be determined by how the members of the MKP and Duduzile Zuma behaves beyond this period. But one thing is for sure, is that when you have to build an organization and make it strong, you should have members that should respect the Constitution, respect each other, respect the code of conduct, and behave in a manner that reflects the unity of the organization. And I think what everybody will be doing from now will be to assess the behavior of Duduzile Zuma going forward. But my view is that it's important for party leaders to apologize when they are wrong, because that talks to organizational discipline, and which is exactly what most people would expect to see.
Do you think an opportunity was missed by the MK party's leadership to be a bit firmer in disciplining Duduzile Zuma? I believe if this was in any of the political organizations, there could be a harsher penalty, maybe a suspension of some sort. But there was just a statement, a forced apology after that, and then it's everyone move on with their lives. Don't you think there was a missed opportunity to assert discipline within the party, to show the broader public that the MK party is an organized movement? Anyone that sways from the values of the party will be disciplined, and that would indirectly even have the constituency, MK voters, have more confidence in their party, and maybe even attract another population of people who might choose to vote for MK party based on that display of discipline and consequences for such actions.
The KT has acted on Duduzile Zuma. The MKP has instructed her to issue an apology. The MKP had realized that the spat between Duduzile and Floyd Shivambu is not good for the organization. We might differ on the approach that could have been taken, but at the end, the MKP appears to be saying there is a line that should not be crossed, and Duduzile, you have crossed the line, and you need to apologize. They could have done it differently or much firmer, but as a new party, the MKP is still having a lot of things to do to build up, to make sure that things work out for them, and maybe that is how they've started. Obviously, if we get other cases, they might therefore act differently as compared to the current situation.
And just in closing, 2025 is going to be a very, very important year. You have the local government elections coming up in the not so distant future. The MK party, they are now the official opposition of the quote-unquote government of national unity. How do you assess their role going forward in the South Africa's political landscape?
It will depend on many factors. It will depend on factors like this. How do they deal with discipline in the party? How do they deal with deployment of members in the party? How do they keep their members happy? How can they be trusted by ordinary people on the ground? Who is in charge of the party? Is this person acceptable to everyone? So there are many factors that the MKP has to look at. And of course, I expect that they should be able to look at all these factors and identify the best route to take in order to build a much stronger MKP.
All right. I think we're going to leave on that note, Levi. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure having you here on Salam Media. Really appreciate it.
You're always welcome. Thank you so much.
There you go. That was political analyst Levy Ndou. And yeah, I think a very, very brilliant analysis of the MK party and their role in South African politics. I'm not sure if you read or saw that public apology from Duduzile Zuma Sambudla. If you haven't, I'll read it out, and then we can just engage online and you can tell me what you think about it. So it's dated 11th February 2025. Start off by saying, as a committed and disciplined member of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party, I hereby extend this unconditional public apology to President Zuma and Umkhonto weSizwe Party leadership for the profanity used in my recent post on X. While I hold strong and personal views, including serious concerns about internal party matters, my perceptions of how certain issues may be handled within the organization, especially by the party secretary general, I fully recognize that such concerns should have been and shall be addressed through the proper internal channels as dictated by the core values and principles of the glorious movement of the people. I acknowledge that expressing these grievances publicly was unfortunate and may have undermined the unity, discipline, and respect that defines the MK party. My profanity was not and should not be a reflection of the revolutionary discipline, respect, and solidarity that our organization, under the esteemed leadership of President Jacob Zuma, upholds. To President Jacob Zuma of the MK party, the entire leadership members, supporters of the MKP, and the people of South Africa, I wish to assure you that I never intended to harm the integrity of the party or the values it upholds. Hence, my deepest apology for any offense caused in this regard. Furthermore, I offer formal apologies to all structures I serve, in whose roles and responsibilities I carry with the utmost humility and commitment. I hope my apology is received in the spirit of accountability, revolutionary solidarity, and a genuine commitment to upholding the values of the MK party. I am fully prepared and committed to cooperate with any internal processes deemed necessary by the party as part of the continued dedication to the ideals of discipline, respect, and unity. And yeah, that's the apology. Not even one mention of Floyd Shivambu. Eh? So apologizing to everyone, apologizing to the party, the structures, esteemed President Jacob Zuma, South Africans, even you and I, we are mentioned in that apology. She's apologizing to us, but not specifically to Floyd Shivambu. What do you think? What do you make of that? You can engage with us. Are we starting to see the cracks in the Umkhonto weSizwe party? Are they the fit? Are they the fit official opposition of South Africa? Do you see them playing a meaningful role when you have little spats like this in public from a party that is supposed to be challenging a government of national unity that is made up of the ANC and the DA and a lot of South African political parties? These are the guys that are in charge of holding that makeup, that beautiful marriage or ugly marriage, depending on which side of the fence you sit at. These are the guys that are supposed to be challenging that, and possibly these are the guys that could run South Africa one day. Official opposition soared dramatically in their first ferry in the elections, and yeah, what do you make of that apology? What do you make of the MK party as a whole? And the fact that they are in the opposition bunkers of parliament, and they'll be responsible and the ones who will be at the forefront of holding the government of national unity accountable. And what do you make of that apology by Duduzile Zuma? Do you feel there's a lot to it? It tells a story in itself. I mean, the mere fact that she couldn't even mention Floyd Shivambu by name, that I would like to apologize to the Secretary General of the party, Mr. Floyd Shivambu, for my utterances on X. I don't know. It just screams, I'm apologizing to the people that I feel like deserves an apology, and whoever is not mentioned there probably doesn't deserve my apology, and probably deserved what I did to them. Going to take a quick break. Going to come back. News and Views continues after this.